You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
Now, all this talk about Charlie Kirk has got some people pretty pissed off. But you know what happens? Whenever there's adversity, black people rise to the occasion.
They done sat up there and unlied Master Son. I'm heard about that one. They done sat up there and unlied Charlie Kirk. That was one of Master's best sons. He always stood up for what's right. See, y'all gotta understand here. Master help us. Master take care of us. Master love us. You can't sit up there and celebrate nobody's death. They done hurt Master. When you hurt Master and you hurt Master people, you hurt me. Cause I live in a house. I live in a slave house. And we love Master over here. Good Lord above don't like what y'all doing. Good Lord above don't like how y'all talking about Master Son this way. Y'all gonna get what y'all deserve. This ain't right. It ain't. Master ain't said nothing wrong. Master was gonna free us till y'all said something. That be y'all folks' problem. Y'all ain't got no reverend. Y'all ain't got no reverend for Master. But I tell you what. I's gonna stand on all 12 feet for Master. I's gonna appreciate Master. I's gonna revolt about Master. That's how the fuck y'all sound.
Give it up for that sister, man. Jesus Christ, man. I don't know, man. We some creative people, man. That's all I'm saying. We are creative people. And I hate to say it, but she's right. Yeah, she's right. It's a lot of black folks sounding like that, man. Yeah, they are. They sounding just like that. It's sounding, oh no, y'all been talking bad about Master. I know what it is, man. First of all, there are people who have not heard Charlie's catalog. And there are people that have heard a couple of clips that they were like, well, he's saying that black families need to stick together and welfare destroyed the black family. Yeah, see, this is what, and this is the problem. He's saying things that we've been saying. So first of all, it's nothing new about this shit at all. I say this shit about the Democrats and what it's done to black communities all the time, but so many of us saying that. You skip the first 5 years when him and Candace were roasting the hell out of black people. When he was building up his brand like Candace was, and it was, what's wrong with black people? Why do we see black people in so many commercials? Yeah, a grown-ass man making content talking about the number of black people that appear in Kellogg's commercials. It's ruining America.
Of course we pander to blacks. They're in every TV commercial. They get more privileges to come into society.
So you didn't take time to really look at what he was talking about. You didn't catch all the negative anti-black shit he was saying to build it up to get a whole, see, you know, I know you don't really, you listen to what I say, some of these people, they listen, but they don't really listen. I'm a black man, so they can't, it's like they have a barrier. They can't really accept what I'm saying and say, he's right. They have to let it swirl around and think about it from 3 different perspectives. Then get a white person to co-sign it, then they'll be like, maybe he's on to something.
Frederick Douglass, Ben Carson, Thomas Sowell, and Justice Clarence Thomas are far better black role models to celebrate than Martin Luther King, period. End of story.
So I'm understanding what the disconnect is. That I have people that don't understand how things work. They've only seen Charlie in his latest form. They didn't see Charlie when he was in his formative years, when he was amassing, when he was building up Turning Point USA from Breitbart.
Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, and particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color, but I can declare that I did not graduate on affirmative action. This is my personal story.
I hear because of action affirmative. She can't even say that. We know it's very obvious to us that you were not smart enough to be able to get in on your own. I couldn't make it on my own, so I needed to take opportunities from someone more deserving. You know, this is how arrogant Joy Reid and Ketanji Brown Jackson and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee are. They're so...
You didn't see that part. You didn't see that. So that's what that was. And now that you've been educated about what it is, how it works, realize that black people that are rejecting him, who just have a memory or just have access to content, I got a video now that's doing pretty good numbers because people didn't even know he said these things. They just thought we were being mean because black people are so inhumane and evil. We had no reason not to like him. There are people actually don't think we had any reason. They don't even know. They just assume black people are just so mean and rude. Of course they don't like him because he's white. Black people are the most racist people. Remember when they used to enslave us, Johnson? Remember they used to feed our babies to alligators? They used to do that to us. Remember they used to just beat us for fun? Sell our families up and, oh, gosh. Sorry. We used to do that to them, didn't we? Oh, man, gosh, I got us mixed up here for a second. I thought, I don't know, I gotta stop drinking this coffee. It's kind of strong. It's got me mixing up our history with their history. Yeah, man, what's happening is a lot of black people remember or have access to information. They don't get the media you get. Their timeline is not flooded. Their timeline is flooded with propaganda, but they also seek out other content. And I think a lot of white Americans just don't know. So they're sitting back there watching and listening to, you know, and this is good for black people to know this too. We all got to know that everyone's timelines are different, right? Somebody that's cool with you is getting a whole different timeline. I'm at Oz and Buck probably get a whole different timeline than I do. Hell, Sherry Covington, Ebony might get a different timeline than me. I don't know. Look, man, timelines, your personal algorithm, what they're feeding you, may not be the same thing they're feeding me. And you're walking around with that in your head, and I'm walking around with this in my head. Plus, I happen to know these things because it's my job. So all I'm trying to say is what we're dealing with right here, man, is a failure to communicate, people not understanding, and people assuming, everyone assumes everyone else sees what they see. Everyone assumes everyone knows what they know, and that they've decided to pick a certain belief system. And that's not always the case, okay? Charlie Kirk was very right-wing. I wouldn't call him Hitler. There are people that were calling him Hitler level. You know, like Tiffany Cross. But they call everybody Hitler. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's Hitler. I like baseball. Hitler. Because that's a white supremacist game developed in the white supremacist time. They didn't let black people play baseball until and then they did this in the payment rate and then in the knockout rate and the coaches, where's the black ownership of the baseball teams? And blah, 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 and they destroyed the Negro leagues. You like, I just like baseball, man. I just like baseball. I don't have a problem with black people. I just like baseball. So what have we learned today, folks? We've learned that Charlie Kirk had different lives. He had different iterations of himself. There was a Charlie Kirk that was far more extreme than the Charlie Kirk. Some of the people that are going, well, Charlie, those people are not talking about the Charlie you and I know. Okay? This is a service. This is me doing public service. Okay? Just like there are people that like Candace Owens who don't know her library of work like I do. I mean, what person sets their calendar Juneteenth every year and makes a negative comment about a holiday she don't have to celebrate? What black person does that if not just to instigate black people? Does she set her calendar to every Jewish holiday? And then when those holidays come up, does she tweet out that these are not real holidays and they're ghetto? Well, both Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens did that for no reason. Why would you need to do that? They weren't on a panel discussing the legitimacy of Juneteenth as a national holiday. They just did it just to do it. Why are they doing it? Are we going to be dumb? Are we not going to admit they're doing it for a reason? They're doing it to chastise and to poke at people and to build a following that's negative towards those people. Because why would you have that thought and want to share it? On Veterans Day, I don't feel a need to go, screw the vets. I could talk all year about veterans if I want and how war is bad, but I'll wait till Veterans Day when people are respecting veterans to go, Veterans Day ain't shit. There would be a reason to do that, right? So we got people that are honest and people that are legit actors, people that keep it 100, and we got people that are full of it. And it ain't gonna last long around here because I'm gonna be calling you out all the time. So anyway, I just want people to understand when you're upset with friends, when family members fall out with you, when you're disappointed, realize everybody getting different information. People don't know what you know. I put out a video with some of Charlie Kirk's greatest hits. I'm getting comments. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Unc. Man, I really appreciate this. This is what they were telling me. I hadn't seen it. Because there were people who don't understand why other people aren't feeling more sympathy. For someone who said, don't show empathy for people killed by guns. That's what he said. And that empathy was a made-up thing, only recently made up, and it's selective. Why don't you have empathy for people that die in car bombs? Why don't you have empathy for people that crash their cars? Then why are you going to be empathetic for people that get shot with guns? I mean, just condescending to all the people who have lost people by guns. Why would you need to say that? So anyway, it just so happens this guy gets shot, and you want everybody to forget he said it. He was talking about the very way in which was his own demise. And he's making a mockery of people who lost loved ones. And people are holding him to account for that via their own little timelines. But that had nothing to do with what happened to him, nor does that change the fact that Donald Trump had the flag at half-mast. That he's getting a military-style funeral reserved for dignitaries and elected officials of a certain caliber and servicemen and women. Well, look, man, if I can't convince you, I just can't. Peace be unto you.
They know what a racist is.
That's right. I get called racist every day. And it's easy to say, why are you so terrified of being called a racist? Yeah. But there are huge consequences for being called a racist. Of course. Unless you have your own stuff and unless you're very unique.
The Tim Black Show streams Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wolfpack.